Hi guys! So I'm going to show you how I use my Flawless 4 combo. So first what you're going to want to do is put on your moisturizer, which I already did. And then what you're going to want to use is your primer. So I'm just going to take some of this. Never skip primer. Never skip primer. Primer helps keep your foundation from sinking into your pores. And it also helps your makeup stay on longer. Like, I can notice a huge difference when I use primer. It kind of helps smooth over fine lines too. So, okay. So then what you're going to want to do is take your liquid foundation. Make sure you empty the dropper out. And then you're going to want to shake it really good. And this color is a little bit light for me, so what I'm going to do is I always like to put it on a palette. I'm just going to put it on top of here. I think that was 5 drops. I'm going to do 6 drops. So just 6 drops for now. And then I'm going to mix in satin concealer. It's a little bit darker. So this will help darken it up because it's a little too light for me. And I just put a little dot in like that. And I'm just taking my concealer brush and I'm going to mix it up. That looks pretty good to me. So then what I like to do is, you can either use your foundation brush, you can just dip it in here, or I'm just going to use my concealer brush. And I'm just going to put this all over. We'll just start off with that. Okay, so now what you're going to do is take your foundation brush and you're just going to buff it in circular motions, or kind of whatever. Basically just want to buff the foundation in. Now this foundation I would say is about medium coverage, and if you want more coverage you can mix in the concealer. And one of the reasons why I put the foundation on a palette is I feel like you save more product that way. Plus, if you need to change the color, like mix in a concealer like I did, it's a lot easier. Look at how nice that blends in. Don't forget to blend down the neck. Now I'm just going to take whatever's left on here and use it up. That was actually the perfect amount. Usually I make too much, but that was perfect. Now if you do have really bad blemishes, you can put your foundation on first, and then you can take your concealer and dot it on the blemishes. I don't have any bad blemishes, so we're going to skip that part. So then what you're going to want to do, or what I do, is I highlight now. So I'm going to take my concealer in Scarlet in a beauty blender, and I'm just going to put it right on the beauty blender, and I just used a little drop. And I'm just going to blend that underneath. I did dampen my beauty sponge. You always want to have a very lightly damped beauty blender. If you use a beauty blender that is too dry, it's going to, all your concealer is going to soak into the beauty blender. And if it's too wet, it's going to wipe your foundation off. So it's got to be just right. And I use a much, as you can tell, a much lighter concealer, but that kind of hides my lines under my eyes, which I like. So I'm just going to put some under my brows and inner eye corners. Okay, so now the highlighting is done. Now what I'm gonna do is take my contour trio, and this is in dark, and my contour brush, and we are going to contour with that. So I'm just gonna draw some lines on my face, and then I'm going to blend it out with the Beauty Blender. Now if you're a newbie and you don't know where to contour, I would just contour around your face, and then you can do your jaw like this. You don't have to do your chin. You don't have to do your neck, but I like to do that. If you have a double chin, that'll help hide your double chin. But I like to do it because it kind of gives a sharper edge to my jaw, which I like. And then I'm just going to blend this out. And it blends out really easy with a Beauty Blender. You can use your foundation brush too. I just like to use this because it's a little bit faster. Notice how I'm kind of packing this on. I'm not really wiping, because if you wipe, you're gonna wipe your foundation. You're gonna smear your foundation around. So I kind of, I guess you could say, kind of like punch my face. Tap my face with the Beauty Blender. I do tiny little like swipe marks, but I do more pressing than I do swiping. Make sure that's blended in good. Look at that awesome coverage. So now what I like to do is I like to set my oily areas with a powder. You can use our mineral pressed powder, but I'm going to use our setting powder today. I've been using this stuff and I'm obsessed with it now. It looks like this. It's got a little filter and you just tap your brush in it. And what you're going to do is always set underneath your eyes, especially if you highlight it like I did. So I'm just pressing this into my skin. And then I'm going to do around my nose, because my nose is usually oily. And my chin's usually oily. And then my forehead. If you want more coverage, you can use the foundation powder and put the powder where you need the more coverage also. And then what I like to do is I like to take my big fluffy brush, dip it in there, and then I like to kind of buff it everywhere. This is so finely sifted that when you put it all over your face, it kind of creates a blur effect, which is really cool. So now I actually set my whole face with it, which is awesome. So then the last thing, or the two last things I do when I use my Flawless 4 is I use a blush. So I'm going to use Seductive today. It's like a dusty rose color. And I'm just going to tap that here. Actually, I'm going to use a bronzer too, I think. And I dip my brush in here and I tap it off to tap off the excess so you don't have blush falling all over. And then I'm just blending this in with my fluffy powder brush. And then I'm going to take some bronzer because I want a little bit of bronzer. Where did I put the bronzer at? Okay. we are just going to skip the bronzer because I don't know where I put that. Oh, here it is. Okay. Bronzer. This is in Malibu. And whoop, I'm just going to take my bronzing brush. This is actually a blush brush, but it works really good for bronzer. And I'm just lightly going over the areas where I contoured, just to add a little bit of shimmer. Okay, and then the last thing I do is I highlight. So I'm going to take my powder highlight in Benevolent, and I'm going to take my brush here, and I'm going to put that, press that in right above my contour, my blush and my contour. I'm going to tap it in the middle of my nose. I like to do on my lips if I'm not going to wear any lip stuff today. And then I'm going to do under the brows. Just like that. So that is how I use the Flawless 4. You can see the amazing coverage it gives. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like my videos, like and subscribe to my channel. I already said like, but. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. 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 Okay, now bye.